This was in 2001, so September 11th was not that far away. The decision was made, this is a little too close to home to let Houston handle this.
This United States Attorney's Office did not voluntarily recuse itself, I don't believe. I think they were told to recuse themselves so that the president could create a presidential task force to indict and try to convict Ken Lay and Jeff Skilling.
The task force was created in January of '02. For the first time in a single company case, 5 separate U.S. attorneys' offices, including the one where I was at the time in San Francisco, opened investigations more or less on the same day, the day of the bankruptcy filing, and were clawing each other's eyes out to try to get the case. I admit I was sharpening my claws too. I remember I was sitting on my deck in Sausalito, sipping a glass of fine California wine, watching the moon rise over the San Francisco Bay, when my phone rang, and it was Mike Chertoff, who at the time was the Assistant Attorney General in charge of the Criminal Division. He's now Homeland Security Secretary. And he called and said, we're forming a task force and we really want you to come and do the Enron case. Hire whoever you want, pick the best prosecutors you can find. The FBI is handpicking agents. We're doing a nationwide search, looking for agents. Hire whoever you think you should hire. And it was a real luxury and a real pleasure to be able to do that.
You would think there would be a taxpayer revolt given how the Department of Justice spends our money.
Clearly the resources they had were enormous, probably practically limitless. And I think there's 2 things that I think are particularly interesting in that. And it's not just the money, although that's the one major thing. There was no limit to how much money they could spend to get these things done. Really, I'm sure there were 0 limits. But the other thing was the energy that they had to pour into this case, these investigations. And what I mean by that is that if an attorney got burned out, he's gone. He's replaced instantly by somebody who's brand new and fresh. If an investigator got pregnant or an investigator got ill, they were gone and somebody moved in almost seamlessly to pick up where they left off, or at least to try to pick up where they left off. Attorneys, law firms couldn't really do that.
And then you count into that equation all the court personnel that participated and spent hours on the case, all the lawyers, all the FBI agents. They had unlimited resources in putting the case together, so there's no telling. They spent thousands of hours of high-quality lawyer time, tens of thousands of hours of agent time. There's just no way to tell how much they ultimately spent. I don't know whether they have a budget or not. I got the impression that they simply were given what they wanted.
Just in the Houston area, the Enron Task Force had offices in 3 completely separate locations. And I was involved in meetings at all 3. Our first meeting that I was involved in at all was at the federal courthouse, and they had a large area of the federal courthouse full of boxes and charts and all sorts of things that the federal prosecutors use to prove a case. And other meetings I went to were at the FBI office, which is over on T.C. Jester. That's kind of an interesting building in that there's a lot of security to go into that building. And they consider it, of course, very, very secure. No one goes in there without an escort everywhere you go, even to the bathroom. And the other location was the Enron Task Force offices, which we came to call the Enron Task Force building, which was a great big black building with red stripes around it over on the northwest loop in Houston.